Hey, this is Joe at the Pour-Over.
And this is Ellie at the Pour-Over.
Today, we're talking about President Trump's deals and diplomacy in the Middle East, whether or not a district judge can issue a universal injunction, updates in the pro sports world, and other top news for Friday, May 16th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the Pour-Over today.
Here's your verse of the day. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. Psalm 121:8. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
President Trump is wrapping up his jam-packed Middle East business trip today. Wednesday, Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa, urging the former Islamist militant to deport all foreign terrorists from Syria and mend its ties with Israel. The encounter, the first U.S.-Syria presidential meeting since 2000, followed Trump's announcement that he would lift all U.S. sanctions on the Middle Eastern nation. Then, Number 47 jetted to Qatar and the UAE, signing multi-billion-dollar business deals between the U.S. and the Persian Gulf countries. Not on the itinerary? Turkey. Both President Trump and Russian President Putin decided to skip a visit to Istanbul yesterday. On Sunday, Putin had suggested he was ready to hold, quote, direct negotiations for peace with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Zelensky showed up, but refused to negotiate with Putin's, quote, stand-in props. Christians should be committed to praying for world leaders to be wise and to work towards peaceful resolutions, while simultaneously placing our hope in God, not government. 1 Timothy 2, verses 1 and 2 says, "First of all, then, I urge that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for everyone, for kings and all those who are in authority, so that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity."
Yesterday, the Supreme Court heard arguments on universal injunctions. The case centers around President Trump's executive order ending automatic birthright citizenship for babies born in the U.S., unless at least one of their parents is a citizen. However, the Supremes may not even weigh in on who gets a U.S. birth certificate. Instead, they are focused on whether district judges' universal injunctions, which block the order nationwide while it's litigated in court, were illegal. The Trump administration is asking the High Court to limit the scope of injunction, arguing that lower court judges issuing nationwide orders circumvent the normal legal process. An opposing attorney argues that stopping unconstitutional orders falls squarely within the judges' job descriptions. There have been 39 universal injunctions on Trump 2.0 policies so far, so the court's decision could have broad implications. Here's a verse to consider whether the decision in front of you impacts only you or a whole nation. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given to him. James 1:5.
The PGA Championship teed off yesterday, and Venezuela's Jonathan Vegas is the early leader after round one. Meanwhile, the WNBA tips off today with 3 games. Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever face Angel Reese's Chicago Sky tomorrow. Football fans have been updating their Google calendars after the 2025 schedule drop. Some highlights. The season kicks off Thursday, September 4th, when reigning champion Philadelphia hosts its rivals, the Cowboys. Ireland hosts its first ever game, one of 7 international games in 5 countries. Christmas Day delivers a triple header featuring a certain someone's, Taylor Swift's, boyfriend. Finally, MLB posthumously lifted the lifetime bans of 17 players, including all-time hits leader Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson, making them eligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame. A side note here, My wife and I plan to attend the PGA Championship this weekend, and it'll be our first time at a professional golf event. If any of you golf-loving TPO listeners have any tips for first-timers like us to make the most of our experience, please send an email to joe@thepourover.org. Too often, we let eternally insignificant things like sports control our mood and behavior. It's not wrong to enjoy these things, but remember that whether your team wins or loses, nothing of true importance has changed. Colossians 3, verses 2 through 4 says, "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you will also appear with him in glory."
Whether it's for Mother's Day, Father's Day, or graduation day, give your loved ones a gift they might actually use forever, a CSB Bible. The CSB is a translation that's both highly readable and true to the original text, making it a great option for all Bible readers. From beautiful note-taking Bibles and comprehensive study Bibles to New and Old Testament guides and other giftable resources, CSB has a gift for everyone, no matter your preference or your budget. Plus, with personalization options, you can gift mom, dad, or recent grad with a Bible that's uniquely theirs. Check out the link in the show notes to find the perfect one today.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. The U.S. posted a record one-year drop in overdose deaths last year. A report showed that overdose-related deaths fell from 110,000 in 2023 to 80,000 in 2024, the lowest number in 5 years. Experts say the 27% drop is likely due to increased availability of the overdose-reversing drug naloxone, aka Narcan, as well as a nationwide decline in drug usage among teens.
California Governor Newsom has proposed cutbacks in health benefits for undocumented migrants in an effort to make up a $12 billion budget shortfall, which he blamed on, quote, Trump's pendulum swings on tariffs. It's a reversal from previous promises to offer universal health care to all, regardless of citizenship. The freeze would begin in 2026 and apply to new applicants aged 20 plus.
You're fired, quote, Tulsi Gabbard, probably. The Director of National Intelligence removed 2 top officials at the National Intelligence Council as part of her effort to address the weaponization and politicization of intelligence. The move follows recent leaks and the council releasing an assessment contradicting the Trump admin's recent claims that the Tren de Aragua gang is in cahoots with Venezuela's government.
Is Boeing back? The beleaguered aircraft manufacturer sealed a $96 billion deal with Qatar Airways during President Trump's visit to Qatar Wednesday. Boeing will make as many as 210 aircraft for the airline over the next decade. The order, which also boosts engine production for General Electric, is expected to support up to 154,000 U.S. jobs annually.
The streaming service formerly known as HBO Max is going back to HBO Max. For those keeping track at home, HBO's streaming service went from HBO Go to HBO Now to HBO Max to Max, and will return to HBO Max this summer. HBO trolled itself with multiple memes using characters from Friends, Veep, Euphoria, and Game of Thrones.
And that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great weekend. Catch you on Monday.
The other day in the kitchen, I poured citrus element powder in my water bottle. My wife looked at me and asked when the last time was that I drank water without element. I looked at her and couldn't even remember. No sugar, no crashes, just a science-backed ratio of electrolytes we need to stay sharp. Honestly, it's the real MVP of the pour-over. Stay fresh and hydrated with us. The Pour Over Today listeners get 8 single-serve packs free with any drink mix purchase. Just use the Element link in the show notes.